Okay, so Tracy, you're in the bongo.
How much fun is that, eh?
So just a little bit of an overview. Tracy and I have been working together. We were working out about 2.5 years.
Yep,
Yep.
I'd say so.
So and when Tracy came to Power Group today, it was just me and Tracy. So I asked the usual question, the client, where would they like to be? And Tracy decided that the beach would be a really good idea. So we're down here in the bongo. You might be able to see the beach and the sort of coastline behind you. I'm not sure it's just the sky, but it's definitely that way.
Yeah.
And we've just been walking. Well, we started at 9:30, left the house about 10:15.
Yeah, something like that. We're just under 3 hours worth of walking, really.
Yes, so we've been walking for 3 hours. Talking and
Yep.
coaching and cake, hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate with marshmallows and the most amazing amount of cream. Yeah.
Because we discovered that was a really good way to celebrate the changes that have been happening. However, we have decided, and you might be on the same line as us, that we need to find a different way to celebrate other than just food,
Yes,
and that maybe nature and walking is part of that process.
absolutely. With a little bit of cake thrown in.
Fab. So, tell me, because today, what was your session about? What was was happening for you? Because we were doing a bit of reflecting on the.
Ultimately, this today is focusing on the end of a big era. Well, the end of an era, but the beginning of another journey, really. In that it has taken me time to make decisions to get to a place where I'm actually free to do what I want to do, and this was a celebration of freedom, acknowledgement of freedom, and kind of thought of a better way of actually spending the morning embracing that, basically.
Fabulous. So freedom for you was like, remind me again, it's a lilac, a purple ball.
It would be.
It's in your heart.
Yeah, it would basically be like a soft, a flexible, opaque ball that sort of glows as it's energized, basically. And where I am at the moment, I want to hold on to that and actually feel energized, that I can do what I want to do, and actually head in the way that I want to go with my life, with work, and be in control of my destiny ultimately.
Fabulous. So one of the things you said at the very beginning when we were at the house is about how your children get really excited about going shopping or really excited about getting some new shoes.
Yeah.
And you said you want to get that sparkle back where you get really
Agreed.
excited. So what
Yeah.
happens between this ball of control that you've got that's flexible and it's nice to hold? What happens between that and get your sparkle back and be excited?
I suppose it's having all your ducks in a row, as I would call it, enables you to then let that go. It works on its own, and then you can actually embrace the here and now and the getting excited about things. I think you get so bogged down with the humdrum of life, and you've got to be this and you've got to be that and you've got to go there and you've got to do the other, that actually harnessing what a child says about being excited about the smallest of things. Every day a child is excited about something, and I'd like to feel that excitement. I like to feel that I've got a purpose and I'm fulfilling that purpose, but at the same time I'm growing as an individual and I'm starting to sparkle again, you know, and become me, as well as mum, as well as, you know, somebody's, I don't know, I think I just need to embrace that and move forward with it.
So today we did a bit of we've never done it before. We were using your walking pace.
I enjoyed that, actually.
To check your rhythm for the year, to work out what if the next 12 months was just the way you'd like it to be. And you've done Do Delegate or Ditch, where we look at your timelines, and there's some things that happened with that. So going back to when we very first started working together, what was happening to that ball of control?
There wasn't a ball of control there. It felt very, as I'd said to you before, very spiky. Everything it didn't fit correctly. It wasn't working. It wasn't like a well-oiled machine. It was jarring. It's just not satisfactory. Anxiety, all that sort of thing that needed untangling. It was very much a sort of a knotted ball of anxiety, I suppose, effectively. And by untangling that and actually seeing where it might go, or how it might turn into something else, or how it could be smooth and go from spiky to being rounded, is has been the journey I've been on, I suppose, effectively, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Ever working on it, I think.
So one of the things I wanted to share with people is that you did clarity. You came to Paragrowths to get clarity of what you wanted.
Yep.
And effectively went off, kept trying to do it every month, and
Yeah.
30 days later you come back and you've done a little bit, and then there'd be all this anxiety because bits hadn't happened.
Yeah.
And you were getting more and more frustrated with yourself because you wanted a plan for what you wanted, and that you were always in this kind of like survival mode where you're sort of fighting fire.
Yeah.
It never felt like there was any clearing, and you didn't really get anywhere. And then you came on Do Delegate or Ditch. What happened on that? What did you learn about yourself on that program?
Well, effectively, it sort of starts to solidify your patterns, the way in which you do things, how you interact with others, what's important, what's not important, and actually the rhythm that you've got in your own life, both at work, home. They are interlinked, obviously, but I think I've always sort of seen them as two separate things, really. And learning how to manage that and work with what you've got, your strengths, your weaknesses, and move forward and make things successul.
So can I tell the people about the timeline thing, because that was quite a big thing, wasn't it? One of the things that can happen when we're trying to, if I say to you, what do you want the next month to be like, or the next 3 years to be like, some of you will find that really difficult to get down to the detail of today. Some of you will find it difficult to see the future, and you were getting really frustrated at Do Delegate or Ditch when I said to you, so I see 3 months, and you're like, can't even see past the next week.
No, I don't see past the end of the day normally. Yeah.
And those of you who've done Wealth Dynamics, Tracy is a Lord energy, so is very good at the detail, is very good at looking at the how and getting into the systems and process, the nitty gritty. Is also an architect, so if you're looking for an architect in the Hampshire area, this is the lady to talk to. And again, it's about that detail, because you like the small projects, the home, the domestic, improving people's home living environments, and little projects to make people's home making a difference.
Yeah.
And again, it's really into the detail, isn't it, of the personal touch and things you can do there. But when we start, some of you it will be because your brain's hardwired you're a big picture person, and some people it's because you're hardwired to be detail, which you are detail. But the challenge you've got is actually you can do big picture based on your profile, and you can get into the detail, but you were struggling to go back up to the big picture stuff. And for some of us it can be a past experience, and in Tracy's, if you're okay with me sharing, Tracy's first husband passed away, and when he was poorly, you were saying that what happened is you sort of started shutting down, going, can't think past a month.
You go right the way down to small segments of time. So effectively, at the beginning stages, you're just carrying on as normal, but as a illness progresses, you start to feel that actually you don't know how long you've got. So you start to make the most of each, first of all, week, and then it's a day, and then it's each hour, and it closes right down to the point where you actually are living for the moment. Each and every moment is precious, and because you don't know if you're going to get another one. And it's taken me, I'm 10 years now, and I'm unraveling it still, because I shut it right down to protect me and the girls, and you just it's not important to stretch it any further, because you're still living in that smaller amount of time. But now it is important. I have to see the bigger picture, but I do struggle with it, really struggle with it, actually.
But what's been lovely watching you is you did Do Delegate or Ditch about 18 months ago, and then revisited it again in 2017, didn't you? And we've seen a shift where you really couldn't see past a week.
No.
To by the end of that, you did have a 3-year plan of wanting to move house, and actually you moved house within a year. Even though you put it for 3 years, but you actually did it in a year.
I think if I've planned it, it's having the plan, and then I action it. It's not having the plan. I don't see it.
No.
I think it's visualising
But
it.
also just now in the walk, when I said to you, if the next 10 years we just thought, I can't do 10 years. So what we have to do is start with where you can do. Yes. So we looked at a day.
Yes.
And we paced out the rhythm of that day, so you could start to get into your rhythm and what works for you. And then we looked at how many weeks of that, so if your year was that, when would you have your holidays? And we just walked through the months, and you started you started about to feel when you needed to slow down, when you need to speed up, and start to tune into what kind of work you want to be doing at that time of year, what kind of work you don't want to be attracting at those times of year, so that you could be with your family, be present, be in the moment.
It's taking control.
Yeah, and I think that there's been, for me, sharing the space with you today was combining what we've been doing together in Do Delegate or Ditch and putting it into this VIP day, you've actually got that physical movement that means your brain starts to see things from a different perspective. When we sit here trying to get things to work, sometimes we just can't get that clarity.
It's not fluid enough, is it? No.
So we can get, if we move ourselves around. So it's really exciting to see you with a year planned for 2018 that's going to allow you to have more holidays, more fun with your family.
Oh, huge, yeah.
And we know that you also, you know, part of that 2.5 years, the reason why it's taken some time is you were in a business partnership that you kind of went into because you didn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And then you had to work out how to say, I don't want to do this anymore. And you worked with me to get the courage to ask for what you wanted, and that was in May 2016.
Yeah.
And
now I'm here.
You're now
in an
free.
Empty office. Yes.
So, and that's no detriment to the person you're in partnership with.
No,
it was
not
just
at
the
all.
wrong part. It was the wrong partnership at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't following your flow. It wasn't following your strengths of doing those bespoke domestic pieces of work.
I moved away from that to my detriment.
Yeah.
And I've realised by experiencing something different, I realised that wasn't what I wanted. And I think in understanding what you don't want, you actually then solidify what you do want. And I feel that's been the biggest light bulb moment in the last 18 months, I suppose, is that whole, it's definitely not what I want. That you get a clear path of what you do want.
And I'm really pleased you shared that, because one of the things I want to get across to people is that we often get into this being positive, don't talk about what you don't like, don't be negative, talk about solutions. And whilst I do agree in being strength and solution focused, sometimes you have to unravel the thing that's not working and get more clarity of what it is that doesn't work for it to become clear what the opposite is.
Yeah.
So if you just kind of just got that feeling of it not feeling right, until you can unpack what you don't like about it, sometimes you can't get the reflection, you can't get the opposite. And
no, because you can't understand what it is that's making you feel like that, but you just know it's not right. And some of it is about gut, a lot of it's about gut, and then it's when you dig down into that and get the detail of what that gut feeling's about, then you understand actually it's about a whole ream of things that make up the bigger picture that you need to move away from to make it right.
And if we've done this video really for your viewing, for you to do as part of your development, and it may or may never go out to public viewing, but if it does, one of the things I want to share with people, that's why the Manage Your Critic group is all about educating us to be able to listen to people without judgment. So whether it's our children, our partners, or ourselves, to listen, be okay with listening to negative stuff, because sometimes that's where the gold is. Sometimes by unpacking what's not working for somebody or yourself, you can then work out what could work or what has worked in the past. And we as human beings need to have all our emotions honoured. And I think if we hadn't been honouring the grief and the process and getting curious about what was not working, you wouldn't even have been aware that you had such a narrow
not at all
time profile. And that time profile was what's stopping you from being able to plan successfully to have a fantastic year. I can't wait for next year's celebrations when you'll be having lots of holidays with your children.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
And some time on your own painting as well, doing some stuff for you, Tracy.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Cheryl.
Fabulous. Mwah. I've got to go this funny.